We're on Jump Force. So far, for Jump Force, there's been nothing new. But we have. We're used Killer Frost for this one. Alright, guys, listen up. There's a new thing out. I'm a little late to the party. But Ultraman. Ooh, what to say about Ultraman? So, without further ado, what up, everybody? It's your boy, King of Games, Eddie of King's Nation. We're here to discuss about Season 1 of Ultraman. And is it good? Is it bad? I don't know. Now, here's the thing. Disclaimers already. One, I don't know much about Ultraman, like the OG Ultraman. Okay, I do know that when I was a kid watching the Godzilla movies, love them by the way, I saw this giant man figurine turn into a giant guy. Apparently that was Ultraman. So, somehow Ultraman ties into Godzilla, or it was just a crossover thing. So I don't know if Ultraman is its own thing or not. But this is what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about Season 1, and is it good? First of all, Ultraman fights aliens, apparently, which is cool. But it has its downsides. One is like its own animation. Just like Jump Force in its own animation, or the way they decided to make the anime look, they've used 3D animation instead of traditional anime like SAO or Naruto, Fairy Tail, things like that. Those kind of animation. Hell, even JoJo would have done it better. Anyways, so alright. First of all, we have original Ultraman. Apparently, Ultraman was two people combined. One, an alien and a human. Once their job was done, the alien left, said, "I'm out, not paid away for being in your body, so peace." Dips. Old man loses all his memories, right? Right, okay. This man ends up having a family. He has a kid. This kid is only born with gifts, due to the fact that he's technically also the son of Ultraman. He is more human, but he has the abilities of Ultraman. Now, what I find weird is, if I remember correctly, Ultraman didn't need a robotic like Iron Man does. Okay, I think he transformed more like a Power Ranger would, or a Kamen Rider, if I remember correctly. Now, I don't know much about Ultraman outside of this Netflix series. Also, the same thing goes for, I've only really truly seen the true Ultraman in this Godzilla movie, and I barely remember that. So keep in mind, if I get some things wrong, I apologize for any hardcore fans of Ultraman. So, but in this series, I guess use a suit since he can't really morph, I guess, technically. So they're pretty much, these Ultramans are becoming essentially Iron Man. And that me a little bit. It would have been cool to see like the Ultraman like come back to guide. But there's a lot of plots that to me don't make sense. Pretty much, you have this normal kid, who he knows about his abilities, handle on them. He ends up messing up. He wants to impress this girl that he has no idea who she is or whatever. Thought she was cute. Saw her again, not bullied, but talked to by these scumbags, whatever. He tries to interfere. He accidentally breaks one of the guys' foot. Okay, which kind of freaks out everyone, including his friends. Alright, then this other Ultraman dude shows up. He looks like Ultraman kind of, but he's not really. He more looks like the Mandarin from the Adventures of Iron Man, or Iron Man's Adventures when Tony Stark was a kid. He looks like that kind of Mandarin. He looks like Mandarin, but silver. Right? We have a character that's a pop star idol who loves Ultraman but doesn't really like Ultraman. She has a little sad thing, like her sick mother and her were in the hospital. Ultraman was fighting one of his last battles, and the hospital collapsed on her. The mom saved her, but mother ended up dying in the process. So she wants to tell Ultraman that, hey, if you're going to be here for justice, then be here for justice. Save everyone. Fight without single casualty. Here's the thing. Things don't make sense because apparently the girl that he was trying to protect when he accidentally broke this dude's foot and the pop star are the one and the same person. She's wearing a disguise that's not even good. Okay. And apparently she does have like, she had like 2 girls with her during this event. Do they know that she's a pop star or do they not know? See, there's no really answers there. Then that's the only time you really see these 2 girls. And now she's alone. And she's leaving, coming to the same spot always. Obviously she goes to school, but we don't know. We know she's a big deal and big idol, but no one really notices her outside because she wears glasses and a hat. I don't think that's a good disguise. In fact, even her manager says it's not a good surprise. Ultraman, because it's 3D animation where there's supposed to be fear in his eyes or rage or whatever, it doesn't come across really good. Same thing for Jump Force. Their facial expressions is ruined by these models that they chose to use. They're blank doll expressions. So I wouldn't say they're completely dull of life in Ultraman, but it's almost close in a sense. And it just looks bad when he goes for a battle cry. Now, I have another complaint. The show, it's kind of fast paced. It kind of throws our hero into it in a sense. You know, it's crazy. So how can I put this? In normal animes, there's training montages. You know, you just don't know how to fight right off the bat unless this is Power Rangers and you know how to fight as soon as you morph, right? Okay. In the first episode or second episode, when he actually fights this main villain, it shows he doesn't know how to fight. It shows that he's not adapt to his powers, not quite yet. It shows it, really does show it. But through the series, you see him get better and better and better and fighting and all this stuff. And I'm just like, I get that their episode time is on setting up for the fight. I get that, I understand that. But see, what I want to see in an anime is some character depth, you know. So question, you know, how did he learn how to fight? Is his dad training him? His dad will end up fighting the main villain as well. Dad got punched in the stomach. I thought Dad was gonna die. You know, I thought this was about to be an Ultraman who's gonna be upset, rage, wants revenge. No, the dad's perfectly fine, and he's good to go. Now he doesn't fight along with his son anymore, but clearly someone's training him to learn how to fight, and yet they don't show this. Not one, and that's kind of frustrating. How is his training going? How is he becoming Ultraman? You know, is it the suit gives him his combat abilities, the way of fighting, or is it himself? I don't know, because they don't show any training. They don't show him being fresh, can't learn a move, or he can't able to do this, and he gets moves out of nowhere. All right, for instance, he learned how to fly. What I mean by learn, I mean he just ends up doing it out of nowhere. He gets thrown into a crowd and he's like, "Take no more," and things like that. And he's just levitating. I mean, okay. So clearly, as a human, he had Ultraman without the suit. He has abilities, and it's not like he's unlocking these functions as he progresses during his training or gets stronger during his training. You know, there was a time that he said that his suits feel like it's lagging. Okay. So I thought something was wrong with the suit. They say no, the suit's working fine. So he goes, "Oh, maybe it's something to activate full power." I go, "Okay, full power." I guess, in a sense, his powers are becoming greater than what the suit can normally handle in normal standby mode. So they have to give him full access to the suit to fully become one with the suit, or become one with each other, you know. So, but it only lasts 3 minutes apparently, and that kind of pisses me off a bit because I'm like, okay, so if you remove the suit's limiters, I thought to protect him because the strain of it would be too much. But now that he's outgrowing the suit, it's time to upgrade the suit more or whatever. And no, it wasn't the case. Everything seems too fast-paced in a sense to be like, okay, hang on, what's going on truly? Like, you get a sense of what's going on, you know? But I don't know how many Ultramans were in the original series or show or movie. But to be giving out all suits like it's hotcakes is kind of weird. Because one, you have the boy Ultraman, you have this Ultraman with a sword who works with Kid Ultraman, you can say. You know, the son of the original Ultraman. And I'm sorry that I'm not saying names because I have bad memory with names. And we're doing this live. So I don't really have like a script for this and I'm just adding, or I don't know. I'm winging it. Anyways, back to what I was saying. Okay. You don't really see how this man gets an Ultraman suit. He just has it. Which makes me wonder, okay, so if this bad, because the dude's badass. He's with the sword, he's 10 times better than this Kid Ultraman, than the main character. By far. So if you have Ultraman already, why did you need this Ultraman? You know, like, why did you need the kid to become Ultraman? Why did you even need to give him a suit? You could have just had him still go to school and all this shit. When this man had a freaking suit all along. Like, it kind of makes everything redundant in a sense. It makes kind of everything weird. You know, and plus we already have another Ultraman, which you can't tell me is not. I was kind of like, okay, so first of all, he looks like their suits, okay, and each suit is kind of uniquely a little bit differently in a sense. There's technically 4 Ultramans. Okay, we're getting very close to that dangerous 5. Because at this point, if it gets to 5, I'm calling this Power Rangers. Anyways, the Ultra Rangers, if one would say. Anyway, so you have the silver guy who's supposedly, all right. You have main character Ultraman. You have the badass samurai sword Ultraman, and then for the 4th one, you do have this kid who pretty much broke all his limbs. Who was that? Who was in this plane crash and has to deal with the silver Ultraman. He ends up getting the suit, but his I guess okay, which makes me wonder, like, okay, who are you to make Ultraman suit? Where did you come by with the parts to make it? You know, I thought it'd be a totally different thing since these are human made. It would be not a too shy or too much of a stretch to say, like, oh, this kid's working for a different science company or a different organization together, and that's, you know, where he got the suit from. But no, it's his stepdad is making the suits, and his stepdad's an alien, so I guess that kind of makes sense. But I mean, it's just, I feel like you guys now way too much Ultraman suits are making it easy for people to get their hands on them. Because if this is the case, there could be a strong foothold or a hard argument or strong argument that the pop star would get an Ultraman suit, which would be Ultra Woman at this point, because she goes away to New York to learn or to go to abroad, I guess. But it's just like she finds out who Ultraman is at the last moment before she leaves, and at that moment was kind of heartfelt. It was kind of like, oh, I see you. It was pretty good. Now, I'm not saying Ultraman is all bad, you know, in my opinion. I just feel like it lacks the necessary progression for an episode. Some of them was pretty good, but I would like to see episodes where he's training, trying to learn, trying to get strong, you know, not just unlocking abilities out of nowhere, you know. And it almost seems like he doesn't really have the powers of Ultraman except for his strength and the suit, the Ultra Beam or whatever. But then it came to find out, which is spoilers by the way, guys, that when his suit ultra was damaged, he was able to do one. So, and that was the last episode of season 1. So it could be considered that he can do it without the suit at this point. But I don't. On top of that, it's just, I don't know, it's just weird having it 3D, having these anger moments, which moments are supposed to be very cool. And I gotta say, his last one that he did, or the one where he was like, okay, no more hesitating. I can't hold back anymore. People get hurt when I hold back, you know? That realization, that's coming to moment was beautiful. It will execute it. Had it set up that this villain was really strong, you know? He's outsmarted the samurai Ultraman, you know? Technically blew his ass up, you know, unintentional. And at first you think this alien is kind of clueless, you know, kind of not like, oh, what the hell? But right when you think, you know, you won, he does something, you know, even stabbing him, he cannot die. Shows to be a case. Ultraman, a kid. I don't mean like he's like a little kid. I mean more like, to put in perspective, Kid Ultraman's like a freshman, and I guess the other dude's a senior. So you can put it into that. So freshman Ultraman, I guess we could say, call him. He has his moments too, and it's a beautiful moment in this episode. Like I feel like that last episode was honestly the best episode, because I feel like they learned that, hey, we can't really make like facial expressions with this animation, so we're gonna cut it out. In the earlier episodes, you kind of saw like they attempted, they tried, and it just looks really creepy and really offsetting for me, anyways. But they kind of toned it back around the end, you know. Anyway, if you couldn't tell, the spoiler review anyway. So, one of the Ultramans supposedly does not make it in this battle, which causes, you know, Ultraman, aka Senior Ultraman, main character Ultraman, you would say, to... And he doesn't really truly rage. He just instinct. It's equivalent to that. Like, he got Ultra Instinct. And it showed that this alien was moving so fast, it looked like he was teleporting. Okay? So I'm not saying he had that DBZ speed, but more like maybe... probably speed almost. And, or even actually Dragon Ball speed. So... it was just crazy, you know. One of this supposedly ends up dying, and and you're just like, oh, how can they defeat this alien? You already had an alien that they had a hard time dealing with, you know. And one of the early episodes, it was clear that they were not going to beat him anytime soon without any kind of training or any type of upgrade, unless they had to upgrade something, you know. Now, like I got into the good route saying that these are the good parts. The last episode was like the best episode, guys. I already said that. Now, what do I like about Ultraman? I already gave it a ton of stuff, and I don't want you guys to think that I just hate it, because I don't. I watched the whole series and I enjoyed it. It just lacked emotional and progression as an episode. You know, I guess they went for a different approach to how I like anime, or how I like things, in a sense. So, there's that. But the direction they took was fairly okay. You know, if they were going for a cop show theme, like, yeah, investigate this alien, and then Ultraman in a fight, that would have been cool. But I say a lot more episodes if you're going to do that. It feels like that's the direction they were first going to take. But again, anyways, back to the good things. Like I said, the last episode, phenomenal. The fights are really good. See, the cool thing about the 3D animation is that you can really do cool stuff. But I don't know what I like better. 3D. Actually, no, I don't like 3D that much compared to like traditional anime, like animation. So because you get the facial expressions, you get really cool moments, but I think 3D animation works a lot well with mecha animes because you don't really need facial expression and all that. And that's when it shines. When the Ultramans are fighting the aliens, that's when the show really does shine. It's cool to see that. It really is. The animation is fluent there. It's just the emotional aspects that makes it lack, guys. You know, and I can't really go into super details because it'll be super long because these episodes, they're not too long. It's just a lot to go into full-on depth dive. But I think I'm gonna end the video here, guys. I think I'm pretty good. That the fact that I can say that Ultraman has a lot of his issues for me. To sum it up, it's the fact that you don't training sessions with him. He just suddenly knows how to fight. It's off scene, off screen type of thing. You don't really see how well he's balancing his life between school and being Ultraman plus training. You don't see any fatigue. You don't see any conflicts. Now that might come in season 2 because clearly he likes this girl, you know, but then they took her away, so then who knows when she comes back, probably with the ultra suit. I'm guaranteeing you, like that has to go down, you know. Or if they played a part, like the last thing I guess the girl said before she left her abroad was continue being Ultraman, never change. And the way he ended up being in the last episode feels like he has changed. The realization that he came to feels like he's changed. Of course, he had a flashback bringing her never to change. I think that kind of conflicts with what's going on because he's clearly changing to a different Ultraman. He's clearly becoming a different person in the sense of knowing what needs to be done. You know, no more thinking with his emotions in his heart, and he just has to be cold, almost like the Sword Ultraman. The Sword Ultraman is cold-hearted, don't give no shit, will slash and dice any alien into mincemeat. Anyways, I have to give Ultraman a 5 because, or maybe even a 6. It's a little bit above average. I think they could have done better. Honestly, if they did it in a different animation, like a clean animation, not 3D, I think the fights would have looked the same, but you would have added on to like the emotional value of the way of, you know, him killing, realizing he has to kill aliens because he has to do, and he goes, wait, you just expect me to kill him? Like, what? And the guy's like, yeah, of course I do. So it's kind of hard to see him to come to terms that like I have to, like how most animes do it, you know. Main character realizes he has to, in a rage moment they don't really care, but in a normal high school setting where you realize that, or was being forced to kill someone or being expected to kill someone, you see the hesitation, the flaw in this, you know. And you kind of see a tiny bit of that, you know. He doesn't get a taste for it. He doesn't have the stomach for it. He doesn't vomit or anything. He just loses interest. Like, he just, the moment's gone. Like, take him away. You know, you guys wrap this up. He couldn't, and walks away. But yeah, guys, that's really much it. I'm sorry that this review was all over the place. But, you know, this is a 6. Average 6. I'm a little disappointed in Ultraman. You know, I'm pretty, Ultraman grows like to like all big on like Godzilla size. I don't know if they're gonna do that for season 2. I don't know if they're gonna be able to do that. Apparently they have different class of kaijus, which that's pretty cool. We've only learned 2 of them, the normals and the supers, but I don't know if more are coming. You know, the missile or whatever that thing was dropping, I thought it was like a super kaiju. I really did. I thought that thing was gonna be like a big Godzilla monster thing, and it wasn't. I was disappointed. Anyways, this has been your boy King of Games 80 of the review. I don't know why I said that. This has been your boy King of Games 80 of King's Nation, bringing you the review of Ultraman. Sadly say it's only a 5/6, like barely a 6 of that. Like if it's a 5, it's a high 5. But if it's like a 6, it's a low 6. Really close to a 5. Anyway, guys, until next time, I'll catch you guys later on the flip side. Stay insane, stay crazy, and stay safe.